Good evening. Welcome to the latest live edition of Last World Boxing. It's good to be back. Joined by regulars, more regular than me lately, Daz and Ander. Good evening, fellas.
You all right, mate?
How are you, pal?
All right, living the dream. So let's jump straight into it. As ever, I'll hand over to you, Ander, to talk about. I believe we're going to start with the Adam Zim fight, and then we're going to jump onto the BT card. So over to you.
Yeah, very busy show this week, mate. Got lots to talk about. Obviously, we're for anyone listening in the sidebar, we're going to be talking about the Katie Taylor fight against Chantal Cameron very shortly. We'll also be talking about Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade, and a little bit on the Alicia Baumgardner statement that came out earlier on in the week. But straight away, we'll crack on with the Sky show from last weekend. We're just going to talk about the Adam Azim fight against Frank Petitjean. I'll give you my opinion first, lads. I was quietly surprised with Adam Azim. I had questions about how he was going to do later on in fights, because he starts really fast, and obviously up until now he's knocked people out for fun. And it's not really taking him deep into fights in many of his fights. So that was a little bit of the question mark, but I thought he handled himself really well. I thought he was very patient at times, and then got the stoppage when he needed to in the 10th round, I think it was. I'm quietly surprised. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him next, because now he's got to European level. You can't exactly go backwards. Daz, what was your take on it?
Yeah, I was impressed with him, mate. I thought it was good. One of my things was with him that in previous fights he seemed to start fast and sort of not so much fade, but concentration might lapse a bit, stuff like that. But listen, I was impressed with him, and you know, it whets the appetite for future fights involving like him v Dalton Smith, him v Arlen Eubank.
Yeah. I mean, for me, mate, that's the one. Him and Dalton Smith. He's not. See, it's okay fast tracking a fighter like Adam Azim, but you got to get your heart checked and your chin checked, and I don't think he's had that. He'll definitely get it. He'll definitely get it against Dalton Smith.
I won't be putting him in with Dalton Smith yet. Dalton Smith's a killer for me. I think he's far too good at this stage.
Very technical Dalton Smith, and that'll ask Adam Azim a lot of questions. I would probably go Arlen Eubank first. I think you're right, Carl. I'd probably go Arlen Eubank first. He's got a better chance of, and that'll be a war for like 4 or 5 rounds. He's got a much better chance of learning a lot, but getting a better result out of the Harlem Eubank fight right now. But then he can't wait too long for the Dalton Smith fight. It's kind of now or never though, Carl. Because if you're going to push him, I mean, so he can't stay at European level for the next 10 fights.
Probably just have to make.
I'm sat here wondering. Sorry, Daz. I'm sat here wondering what platform that would land on.
Yeah, probably Matchroom.
That's the only problem, isn't it? I guess that's one of them fights, Carl, that'll go to purse bids.
You would, yeah.
And there's only one winner in my opinion on that, and that'd be Matchroom.
Depends if they want it though, doesn't it? Depends if they want it. Sometimes Eddie Hearn lets fights go because he doesn't think there's a viewers in it, don't he? You know, as Azim got a profile.
Of course he has. That's a great fight, mate. That's a great fight.
I like the fight, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about appeal to not only fight fans but to his own subscribers. I'm not too sure Eddie Hearn would go big on it. Let me put it that way.
I think he's mad if he don't. I think it's a absolute barnstormer of a fight. Well, let's see. You can't really argue with what's been done with Adam Azim so far. You can't argue with the way he's been handled, the way he's been brought through. The matching's been very good for him.
Eddie Hearn's very shrewd. He might well think, well, undoubtedly, if he goes on Sky Sports Fight Night, it's going to get more views than he would on his own night. So why not let him get some more exposure over on Sky and then bring him back to the zone for the bigger fights, raise his profile? It's a win-win, really.
Maybe.
Depends how he wants to play it.
Yeah. The fight has to happen, though.
I think it will. I think the will's there, isn't it? So
it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see. Be interesting to see what happens with Arlem Eubank and the way they want to push him, because by the sounds of it, they've only got one fighter in mind. But if that fight don't happen, then where do they go? And obviously, I'm talking about Conor Benn when I'm saying that.
You won't get a Conor Benn fight. I think that's purely for exposure. I bet they've got a plan B, C, and D, to be honest, with Arlem Eubank. Yeah, you won't get the Conor Benn fight. No chance.
No, I wouldn't want to see that anyway.
I mean, but the other thing thinking about it is Arlem Eubank said he can't make super lightweight anymore.
Well, the money's not there in that fight for what Conor Benn would be commanding anyway, is it? Let's be honest. No. The money's not there.
It doesn't have the same appeal as Eubank Jr., does it?
No.
It's an interesting fight. It's an interesting fight, though. I think it might be a more entertaining fight than Eubank Jr. against Benn. The narrative's not as good, but I think the fight is more interesting.
Let's have it right though. From Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn have been circling each other now for a long time, and they're both in the same boat in terms of there's no other fight out there that generates the money that fight does.
It doesn't, Cole, but the problem is it's a mismatch. It's a mismatch in size.
They're going to do it, aren't they?
I know, but it's a mismatch. So the point I'm making is, as a spectacle, yeah, all the glitz and glamour surrounding it, all the ring walks and the full arena and all that, brilliant. But when they actually fight, it's a mismatch.
But from the fighters' perspective and the promoters and the broadcasters,
they make shitloads of money. I agree. But looking from a boxing purist point of view, I actually think that the Arlem Eubank against Benn is a better fight.
Yeah, I'd agree. But like I say, in the real world, it just won't happen with it.
Probably not, no. Probably not. Okay, so this is one you might not have seen, but obviously Tyler Denny was fighting for the middleweight European title on the same card, and got an 8-round stoppage. This is Tyler Denny's kind of creeped up on this one for me. I won't give it. Me and Daz talked about this, and I was saying I don't know whether Tyler Denny's ready for it, but he definitely proved me wrong. So congratulations, and that makes them kind of a couple of mouth-watering fights now. You know, there's a few people in that middleweight division, isn't there?
Yeah,
they can make some great fights. Felix Cash obviously being one of them.
That'll be the one. That'll be the one next, won't it?
And then you've got the second coming of Nathan Heaney, which we'll talk about shortly. I mean, you know, how far does he go now? You know, he was well impressive. So how far does he go?
Don't you think they'll rematch?
Nah.
Yeah, I do. I think they'll do it again. Yeah, I don't know if it's in the contract or anything, but I'd be surprised if that don't happen again.
I don't know, mate. We'll see. Interesting. Did you see the Tyler Denny fight, Daz?
I saw bits of it, mate. Didn't really see it all.
What was your take on what you saw?
I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed. It was a bit of a strange ending, to be fair.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a lot of faffing about in corner. I don't know if it were a bit of miscommunication. But yeah, I mean, Tyler, he were winning that handily for me. Yeah,
I'll give you that. Okay, Cole, let's move on to the BT card from Manchester from last weekend. So we'll go from the bottom end of the card. This is a fight I was really surprised at how poor Solomon Dakras was. he got the victory in the end. But there's a number of people that I've seen message, fight, even boxing people in the industry that think Michael Webber might have won that fight. He was well under par. If that's the best Solomon Dackers has, then he's not going any further, mate, because he was really, really, really poor. I mean, the scorecards read 96-93, 96-94, and then the third scorecard was a draw. I mean, he probably scraped it 96-94. But it very could have easily been a draw. It was that scrappy. He didn't put his stamp on the fight one little bit. I don't know if you saw this one, Daz.
No, I didn't see that one. I've heard it wasn't a great performance.
No, it was poor, mate. Very, very. I mean, if he's thinking of moving up to British level anytime soon, he needs to think again. I mean, I don't know what they do with him. This was his first outing on BT as well.
Yeah,
he hasn't filled himself with glory. They've signed him now. I mean, Frank Warren must have looked at that fight and thought, "What do I do here?" He's got to improve from that. That's all I can say, because it wasn't very good. It wasn't a very good standard. Okay, moving on to the first world title fight of the night. Hannah Rankin versus Emma Kozin. WBC and WBO super welterweight titles were on the line in this fight. Firstly, Daz, I'm going to come to you. How many world title shots is Hannah Rankin going to get?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, mate. Listen, nothing against her personally. I don't know her. By all accounts, she's a nice woman. But come on, how many title shots do you want to get?
I kind of shake my head a little bit. I mean, it's very good. It's very good handling from a manager. That's all I'll say. He's getting her all these shots when the reality of it is, and like you say, she seems like a nice girl. She probably is a nice girl. Never met her. The reality of it is, every time she steps up, she gets beat.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't throw a jab, really, did she?
She would. I mean, I've seen a box. I will say this though, I've seen a box much better than that.
Yeah.
Emma Kozin's not world level in my opinion.
Well, she's with Salita Promotions now, isn't she? So I thought she'd be going stateside a lot more to fight.
Well, she might do after this, mate.
Who's that? Rankin.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see how she deserves title shots she gets. I mean,
well, I tell you what, right now, Terry Harper and Steffi Ball would have been rubbing their hands together watching that, because they'll be screaming to make that fight next, and it's an easy night's work for them against Kozin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's a no-brainer. Pick 2 more world titles up in a fight that they win convincingly.
Yeah.
I've always thought Rankin's limited in her boxing ability, to be honest with you. Like you said, she comes across very well. I don't know, it's nothing personal, but it's just about boxing ability, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Moving swiftly on then, lads, to what was a really interesting fight. A lot of narrative behind it. A little bit of bad blood. I don't know how much of that was actual bad blood or whether it was all built up for the fight. And that was Echo Esserman defending his British, Commonwealth and IBF European titles against Harry Scarf. So obviously, Echo Esserman's from Nottingham, Harry Scarf's from Derby. So like I say, there was in the build-up, fight week and on social media prior to fight week, there's been quite a lot of stuff go on. Harry Scarf has openly admitted he was doing it to get under Echo's skin. Carl, I'll come to you first. First, break down the fight for me. Firstly, because obviously you weren't on the show last week, me and Daz gave our opinions on how we thought the fight was going to go. And I think it's fair to say that we both thought Echo was going to win. So firstly, who would you got before the fight?
Esserman.
Okay, and what's your reaction to after the fight? How well did you think Harry Scarf fought? Did you think Echo was under par, or was it that just Harry Scarf was just too good?
I think it was a bit of both. I think Esserman looked back on the performance and be disappointed. I don't think. I think Esserman. I think they'll run it back. I think Esserman will beat him in the rematch. I wasn't overly impressed with either of them, to be honest. Do I think any of them can go to the next level? No. They're very one-trick pony-like fighters, aren't they? They haven't got a plan B. Good fight though. Good close fight for me as well. Some of the scorecards, I was scratching my head a little bit, but we've said it about Esserman before. He's not the most powerful, but he'll be consistent and keep a quick pace over 12 rounds. But having said that, I do think Scarf won the fight. It was a very close one, though.
Yeah. So the 117, 112 was a ridiculous scorecard.
Yeah. You can live with 116, 113, can't you?
116, 113, 115, 113. Yeah, either of those, mate. But I mean, the right man got the result, and that really is all that counts.
None of them are going much higher in levels than you. Would you say European?
Yeah, so it was the British Commonwealth and RBF European titles that were on the line.
Yeah, so they ain't going. Neither of them are world class. Let's put it that way. But Scar probably deserved it on the night. As a Nottingham lad, I do sit there and wonder about Echo Esserman's career and his exposure, because good lad, we've met him, Andy, haven't we? Very
proper nice lad.
He could really be pushed and marketed in Nottingham, because let's have it right, Lee was not going to have many more fights. He's already told us all that.
Yep.
So there'll be a gap in Nottingham. I'm just a bit perplexed why Frank Warren, like we said before on the show, isn't bringing him to Nottingham to build that fan base. So I'll finish on that, Andy.
Yeah. Just before I come to you, Daz, I'll just touching on what you've said there. I've never understood why Echo's never got a push in Nottingham. He's never going to build a profile of fans up, like general boxing fans. He's obviously got his own following, but like the general boxing public in Nottingham, the ones that follow Lee Wood, the ones that fill the arena out for Lee Wood, they're not going to follow Echo Esserman when he fights down in London every time he fights, and he's a mid-card fighter, which is rubbish. In Manchester, he's a mid-card fighter when he's British, Commonwealth, and European title holder. That's just it's a downright disgrace from Frank Warren.
It's not even like he hasn't got fighters in and around Nottingham. He's got
this is it, mate.
Stoke. He's not a million miles away, is it? He's got Harry Scarf, obviously Derby.
He's got West Midlands fighters as well that could easily travel over to the east. I've never understood it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Echo's now got to rebuild, because unless he gets an automatic rematch, like you say, he's now got to rebuild. So it's even less unlikely that Frank Warren's going to give him a card headline in Nottingham. Daz, I'll come to you now, and then I'll give you my opinion afterwards. What was your? Obviously, we spoke about this last week, and we both wondered whether Harry Scarf, whether it was too early for Harry Scarf. We thought that Echo's experience was going to tell through, and his engine was going to tell through. Break down what you thought of the fight, mate.
I just thought Harry Scarf were better on the night, and Echo looked a little bit, one step behind him. He deserved to win, Harry, but yeah, them scorecards were they just baffle you, don't they? They just make you think, what are you watching?
117, 112 was ridiculous. Every round was competitive.
Yeah, it was just, Harry deserved to win for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy, the question, I'm not just making anyone feel silly, but obviously we're mad. Dad, you're near Nottingham. If I said to you, what gym does Echo Esserman train out of in Nottingham? And I only know because I've just looked it up. Would you know where it is?
Bad boys,
I know where. Yeah, I know where it's Barrington. It's Barrington's gym. I know where it is. I don't know what it's called though.
And that's what I mean about profile. It's a Legends gym, by the way. I only know because I've just looked it up. But that tells you everything you need to know. That, especially me and you, Andy, as Nottingham lads.
Yeah.
That tells you, boxing fans, that we don't know detail like that. So I'm just going to put a comment up in the side. So Matt Nash, good evening, Matt. He goes on about Anna Rankin. So Rankin versus Cozen was a poor fight considering it was for 2 world titles. Decision could have gone either way. Difficult fight to score. He goes on to say a big part of Leewood's following comes from his association to follow. And anyone know who Echo supports? Again.
He's well, I mean, Echo, he's got nothing on his shorts. Echo's not aligned with any football team as far as I'm aware. You know, he's just a boxing lad, isn't it?
It's just a shame, though, isn't it? You know,
it is a shame. I mean, can you kind of level a little bit of he needs to maybe build his own profile on social media? I don't know. I mean,
clues in the title, isn't it? Promoter.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you want to join us, Matt, again, feel free. I'm sure Carl will put the link in the sidebar. He's put in his last comment. My point being, there's more emphasis on fighters building their own profiles these days. Very true. There is.
Yep.
You don't get them. Eddie Hearn's the only promoter that really pushes and promotes fighters like. It may be the only one in the world, Carl, that does it like that. The rest of them don't put. They only push the main guy. They don't push the undercard fighters and give a narrative and build their story the way.
I've said many times before, Antianta, about that. Eddie Hearn is the best at what he does about building a narrative.
Yeah. And I mean, we knock him at times for certain things, but you can't knock him for being a promoter and a salesman. He's the best in the world at it. There's no two ways about that. Right. Okay. While we're waiting for Matt, here he is.
Not Matt.
Doing his cooking by the looks of it.
No, it's Little Penny, that is.
Oh, hey, Little Penny. Hey, how are you, mate?
I can feel that jet lag coming on again.
Hold on. How's it going, boys?
How's it going?
Yeah, really good, mate.
Hey.
So you didn't get. So you was in the sidebar last week, but you didn't get on the show. But it's good to see you on this week, mate. We're just talking about last weekend's card, mate. Just going through the last weekend's BT. Then we're going to go on to Cameron Taylor, and then after that we'll talk about Andrade and Benavidez. So let's swiftly go through this card, then, lads.
Yeah.
Where are we? So I didn't see this fight, so I'll leave this one with Daz, and it's Liam Davis against Firmino.
So just before Daz does jumping about this, Daz, I do wish Echo Esman got a promotional push like Liam Davis is getting at the minute.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, strange that one, Carl, isn't it?
Yep, he gets to headline his own shows in Telford, etc. You know, so I don't know what the strategy is.
I mean, I think that Deb Saney and all, but you don't hear Noya Inoue calling out Liam Davis as well. I mean, it is tongue in cheek from him, but it did get some. It did get some bites.
I've seen a little bit of this action, but not a lot of it. I mean, it's a very entertaining fighter, isn't he, Liam Davis?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I thought it was, you know, he put in a good performance. He got dropped himself. Yeah. But I like him. I do like him. I did want to see him v Dennis McCann. I'm not sure that, you know, after McCann's last fight, that
yeah.
be on hold for a little bit. but I think it's one that's definitely going to happen at some point. But yeah, I like Liam Davis.
Okay, moving swiftly on though, we'll go on. We'll move on to Nick Ball versus Isaac Dogbo. Obviously, Nick Ball won a unanimous decision. This was for final eliminator for the WBC featherweight title. Carl, I'll come to you first because I know that you've had quite a lot to say about Nick Ball in the past, especially when he was calling out Lee Wood. What was your opinion of him now after that performance?
Well, I think he realised that he can't just look to plough through everybody he come into the ring with. I think this is a bit of a rude awakening. I'm not his biggest fan anyway, but what I would say, I think he'll come out of that ring knowing there's levels to this game. He couldn't just blast him out like people were expecting that he could. Dogbo's no mug, right? You know, he's an ex-world champion, so he's been there, done it. So let's just calm down with it. With the Nick Ball, he's going to dominate the world and dominate his division, etc., etc.
I will say this though: Isaac Dogbo was a world champion, but it's super bantamweight.
Yeah, but he still knows his way around the ring, and he still slowed Nick Ball down because it was nothing like a demolition job, was it? Let's be honest.
My point being there, Cole, is obviously Isaac Dogbo being a super bantamweight is about as tall as Nick Ball. When Nick Ball comes in against the top end of the featherweight division, they're quite a bit taller than that. And is he going to struggle getting inside them?
Yeah, my concern would be that he didn't seem to have a plan B. And is he good enough to have a plan B? He's going to need a plan B.
Lads, I've just dropped you a message in private chat. I've just got to jump off for a minute.
No worries, mate.
No worries.
All right, I've dropped you a message in private.
So I think there's a few. I won't call them red flags because that's a bit strong, but Frank Warren's giving Ball one hell of a push into. So I'll be interested to see where he goes next.
Yeah. Well, his next fight's going to be WBC featherweight title.
Should be, but we know it don't always work like that, does it?
Yeah, I think that'll happen though, mate. You don't get the politics that you get in the higher divisions, mate. These guys will fight.
Who knows with the WBC though?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I think he'll probably get a title shot.
So the jury's still out for me on Nick Ball. That's my conclusion.
Lil Penny, did you see that fight?
Which fight?
Nick Ball against Isaac Dogbo on the BT card last weekend.
Well,
No, I
would be
didn't.
BT for him, would it?
Did you see anything on that show?
I do know Isaac Dogbo quite a bit though. He was supposed to be top ranks, like huge prospect at the lower weight divisions. Like
He
at
was
122, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, something happened. Like
Well, he moved up. That was that was what happened, Lil Penny. He won a world title at Super Bantam, and then he's moved up and he's got beat by a prospect. Well, that's not fair. Nick Ball's more than a prospect. But this was obviously for a final eliminator for the WBC.
no, man. What I'm saying beforehand, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he got off the rails, like because he was supposed to be a really top prospect when Top Rank signed him.
He got beat in a couple of fights, but it was only by world level fighters, if I remember. I can't remember now who it was he fought, but
Hey, what happened to Daz?
he's had to drop off. He'll be back soon, mate. Okay, so moving on to the headliner of the night, and that was Nathan Heaney against Denzil Bentley. Obviously, Denzil Bentley was defending his British title, middleweight title. Nathan Heaney coming as a bit of an underdog. I mean, Nathan Heaney's got ridiculous following, amount of people follow him, and seems like and comes across like a real nice fella as well, Carl.
He does.
So I'm really, really happy for Nathan Heaney winning this title.
I remember he fell out of love with the game as well, and then
this is kind of Nathan Heaney Mark II, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you watch this one, Carl?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Break the fight down for me, then, mate.
Well, I thought that Bentley kind of ran out of ideas a little bit, I'll be honest. But it was a very good fight, though. Nathan Heaney showed me grit and determination that I didn't know he had, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah.
And probably showed me a level of boxing that I probably didn't think he had either. They had a war. I thought this was a really good fight. They had a war, didn't they?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great fight.
And it was just who had the biggest heart. Again, I think this gets ran back again. I think it was a great fight. What can I say? I think Heaney just had the bigger heart out of the two and just bit down his gum shield that little bit more than Bentley did. And that surprises me.
Yeah, so I think most people in boxing will say that they didn't expect this from Nathan Heaney.
Yeah.
On past, past.
And it was his cup final, wasn't it? He wouldn't have got.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you look at past performances, Carl, he's had a few decent performances, but nothing that you think where he could topple Bentley. Because Bentley's fought at world level and handled himself really well at world level. I mean, I was saying on last week's show, why is he fighting why is he still fighting and defending his British title? Why is he not getting the European title fight that Tyler Denny got on the other show?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there's a motivation. I mean, I don't know this. I'm not taking nothing away from Heaney, but it makes you wonder from going from world-class opponents, dropping down to a British title fight. It must be difficult to get up for it,
But the problem is, mate, he's British champion, and if you're not gonna vacate the belt, you got to defend it.
Yep.
And that's just how it is now. Nathan Heaney's done a number on him. It was a very good fight, but deserved victory. Bentley's come out and gone, it is what it is. He's a very chilled and laid-back character, Denzil Bentley. He won't let this ruin him. He'll come back. Like you say, there might be a rematch, and if not, he'll just rebuild, mate. He's a quality fighter. I'm not taking anything away from Nathan Heaney, whether Bentley had a slightly off night or not. At the end of the day, Heaney still had to win the fight. So,
but what I would say is props to Queensbury and Frank Warren, because I thought this was a very entertaining card for the pot.
It was a very good card. It was a very good card, mate. Lots of titles on the line.
We often go in on Frank Warren, so props.
This is, in my opinion, mate, this is Frank Warren's best card of the year.
Yeah,
and that's he's had some big shows with some big names on, but if you actually look at the card and how it's matched, this is the best card he's had, in my opinion.
Yeah,
very, 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 very good. Props to Frank Warren for this card.
So let's move on then, Andy, so we can bring little Penny on top of that he's going to be able to contribute to.
Okay.
So we'll go on to Benavidez versus Andre next. I know little Penny's got his views on them too. So
yeah,
we're going to bring you in to break this down for us then, little Penny. So we'll let you take the slot first. So give us your thoughts on this great fight.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 years ago, I would have favored Andrade because he's got although Andrade sometimes he stinks up the joint.
Yep.
Usually a great boxer can beat a great fighter or someone who throws punches a lot, like someone like Benavidez. They usually do. Like, you don't even have to be a great boxer to beat a great fighter. You can just be a good boxer and beat a great fighter, right? We've seen that so many times. But the thing is, Andre, he's old now, and he's so inactive as well. And I feel like maybe 3-4 years ago, even though he hasn't been tested, I think his best victory was probably against. I can't even remember.
Yeah, that's how good it was.
Yeah,
his resume is not that good, but the thing is, the eye test tells you that he is good. For example, with Shakur Stevenson, he hasn't really been that tested either. No. But the eye test tells you that he's really good, right? And say, for example, if he fought Tank Davis, who has been tested, right, with the likes of Pedraza and Ryan Garcia, I reckon Shakur will outbox Tank Davis for 12 rounds. I think he potentially could beat him 12-0, right? But the thing is, the reason why I can say that to Shakur is because he's still young.
Yeah, little Penny.
Whereas
he last fought in January this year. Andre. So how inactive is he?
Yeah, but against who though?
Wasn't that last year, Carl? He's not fought all this year, has he? Or did he not fight at all last year?
January. No,
Yeah, that's right. He didn't fight at all in 2022.
That's right. It was Desmond Nicholson who he fought. That world-renowned name, little Penner.
Yeah, to me, I think Benavidez is hitting his prime. If not, he's still going, like he's on an upside. I think his volume will overwhelm Andrade to the point where he'll just start running back and make it a stinker. I actually think Benavidez will win this fight in an unanimous decision in a very boring fight.
Let's be honest, little Penner. Andre's career has been nothing short of a car crash, has it? You know, in terms of how he's been managed. I mean, even Eddie Hearn couldn't get him the big fights.
I think it's part of him too. I don't think it's just the promoter. I think part of it is him too. And I reckon it's a lot of it is him. Like he's had. I remember he was supposed to fight Jamal Charlo at one time, but he pulled out of the fight. I think because of the purse split or something. I don't know. And he's pulled out on a few other fights too. And I just feel that.
I think Benavidez will beat him because he's much bigger, for one. Andre's not a super middleweight for me, he's a middleweight. So I'd like to know what the weight's like when they come into that ring, because Benavidez is a very big super middleweight as well.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So I think Benavidez is going to stop. It will stop him round 9.
No, yeah, I could. You can see that, Carl, but I don't think so. I think Andre, once he sees the volume coming, there's just punches and bunches, and he probably can't even hurt Benavidez because he's so big. I think he'll just run away. It's kind of like it'll probably be like that Shakur Stevenson fight that we saw last week, like where like he'll just be running away and he won't engage, and to the point where Benavidez will just be too tired chasing him all over the ring. Because sometimes, you know, if the opponent doesn't want to engage, you can't. You can't, like. It's not like.
It takes 2 to tango, as the British say. It takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, correct. Also, like, for example, Manny Pacquiao used to fight like, you know, like Marquez early in his career. He used to run away a lot too. Like sometimes he wouldn't engage. He changed his style later on in his career. But because Manny Pacquiao would take a lot of risks and would just take the fight to him, right? There's not many fighters that do that these days, where they take that sort of a risk where you could get knocked out at the expense of you, like trying to make the fight happen. I don't think Benavidez is kind of like that, but I don't think Benavidez. I think those fighters are long gone now. They're even now, even like the closest fighter I can see someone today will probably be Tank Davis. Yeah. And he doesn't take risks like Manny, like back in the days where he would put himself at harm's way, like 100% harm's way, so that he can make the fight exciting. Yeah. So I reckon the fight that on this card that is exciting is the Jamal Charlo Jose Benavidez fight. Yeah. Because Jose Benavidez has only got one leg, right? So Jamal could knock him out actually. So in that sense, in saying that, Jose Benavidez has only got a space of maybe 4 rounds to knock out Jamal, because that's the only way he's going to win. And unlike Andrade, he can't run away because of his leg, right? Yeah. So he has to take the fight to him, and he's only got maybe 3 to 4 rounds to make it happen. And after that, if Jamal lasts, to me, I think Jamal will knock him out. Like what Carl was saying before, Jose Benavidez is actually a welterweight. He's not even a middleweight, right? So I don't even know why he's doing in this weight class.
Again, though, Lil Penny, how disappointed are you in Jamal Charlo? He's not active enough.
No. Yeah, I am very disappointed. I think there's a mental health problem with Jamal.
It's you know what it is, mate. It's a mental health problem with American fighters.
Yeah,
They
true,
fight once a year because they don't have to fight any more than that because they get paid an absolute fortune for fighting nobodies.
correct. But it,
So-
but it's interesting that Canelo Alvarez gets paid 10 times as much as these guys, but he fights twice a year. I don't get
Or
it.
three times, or 3 times a year against world champions, mate. It's all about attitude. That's all. That's all it is. It's about attitude. It's about how much you want a legacy over money. Canelo don't have to worry about money because of the amount he's got, but he's only got that because he's chased legacy all his life.
Yeah, Jamal Charlo could have fought Triple G 3 times already because they're in the same weight
It was
class.
never going to happen. It was never going to happen, mate. Because then he gets beat. Because then he gets beat, and when he gets beat, he loses the dollars, don't he? He loses the cash.
He's lost credibility, hasn't he? By not taking that fight, he's lost credibility with fight fans, in my view. So even if
the problem is, Cole, the problem is the American fighters don't care about fight fans because as long as the broadcasters are going to pay them the money to fight nobodies, why would they risk fighting the best for the same amount of money?
Yeah. But the thing is, his twin brother is not like that. He fought the best of the best at 154, with the exception to Tim Tszyu. Jamal Charlo has cleaned out the 154 division.
I think you're being Oceania biased there.
He won't even fight Tim Tszyu, I reckon.
I wouldn't put Tim Tszyu at the top of that division. I'm still not convinced by him.
He's got a belt now.
He's got a belt. He ducked Liam Smith when he wanted to drag Liam Smith.
Tim Tszyu will sleep.
He wouldn't have a couple of years ago. Let me tell you.
If Smith goes back to 154, Tim Tszyu will sleep him.
Smith can't wait. He can't make 154 now.
A couple of years ago, when that fight was being put on the table, Liam Smith would have stopped Tim Tszyu.
Well, when Tim Tszyu was 5-0,
he would have stopped him, and I still don't rate him now. So.
Tim will. I don't know if Tim wants to clean out 154, but he will get to 160 eventually. He should fight Eubank and all those guys. Eubank, Smith, and those.
We'll see, won't we? He gets a nosebleed when he leaves. When he leaves the southern state, don't he?
I'll tell you
he's never going to fight in the UK. Put it like that.
Don't look past
Tim
Liam.
Tszyu, of course he will.
Don't look past Liam Smith at 160. I'm telling you.
He hasn't got any punching power at 160. Didn't Eubank knock him out?
Yeah, there's a lot behind that, mate. Liam Smith, if you don't know, had a back injury, couldn't train, ended up dropping a lot of weight in a very short space of time, and had absolutely nothing left in the fight.
Let's have it right, little Penny. It's what we do in Britain. We let your boys come over to Britain and we teach them what real boxing is about and send them back.
Hey, you do know that Kosher Tszyu was washed up when he fought Ricky Hatton, right?
Oh, come on.
Rick, I think that was Tim Tszyu's last fight, I think.
Yeah, because he got that much of a pasting from Ricky Hatton, he couldn't place the Fury Plus again.
I do like Ricky Hatton, by the way. I reckon out of all of the fighters in our generation, like, the Pacquiao, Mayweather's, De La Hoya generation, or Tito Trinidad generation, I think Ricky Hatton had the best fans. I'm not
saying Hatton would have beat Floyd Mayweather, but Joe Cortez would not let Hatton fight on the inside during that fight. And before the fight, Hatton even told Cortez in the changing room, don't stop me fighting on the inside, don't stop me. I'm not bitter about it, as you can tell.
I think Flo. I do agree with you. I did notice that when I saw it, I was thinking, how come they don't want? How come the ref doesn't want to let him fight on the inside? Because that's what Ricky Hatton's game.
That's everything about Ricky Hatton, isn't it?
But Floyd is also pretty good at inside fighting. He's got a lot of tricks in the trade. I think he would have.
I agree.
He eventually would have won anyway by decision.
The only small chance that Ricky Hatton had of winning that fight was fighting on the inside.
Also, right? Ricky Hatton's not a welterweight, mate. He's not a bona fide. Even though, did he win a belt at welterweight? I can't even remember. But he's not a natural welterweight. You know what I mean? His bread and butter was at 140. Because wasn't he the lineal champ at 140?
You talk about
junior welterweight.
You talk about Hatton's fans, little Penny. It's not Hatton's fans. It's the British fans. We're the best boxing fans in the world. What can I say?
No. What about Saudi Arabia?
We are. No, we are.
No. Saudi Arabia's taken over. Those Saudis.
Fight fans, though. I'm on about fight fans.
That's what I'm saying. They got fight fans there too.
Have they really? You hear a pin drop in them shows, don't you?
They love. No pun intended, but that country loves violence in terms of like boxing, like you know.
So why don't they make any atmosphere on any fight nights then?
Awful.
They've got atmosphere, man.
Come on, little Penny. You know they haven't.
You might not sing and chant and all that, but
it's like being at a New Zealand fight card going to a Saudi fight card. No atmosphere whatsoever. It's like being at a rugby union game in New Zealand.
But by the way, what's your thing? What's your pick for this card? The two fights. So I've got Benavidez by unanimous decision in a very boring fight, and I got Charlo by knockout in a very exciting fight.
Yeah, I'll go for Charlo. Benavidez round 9. I'm going for. I think.
Charlo knockout. Benavidez knockout. He'll get it on. Andre will run all night long, but he can't do it now. He's too old, mate. He can't do it. He'll get. Benavidez will catch up with him, and he'll have to stand and trade. And when he does, he'll get caught.
To me, Benavidez is like a volume fighter. I don't see him like as a one knockout puncher.
No, he's not. He's not. But at the end of the day, mate, he's 27-0 with 23 knockouts.
Yeah, he'll cut the ring off, and get him on the
road.
Yeah,
but Andy, some of those opponents, his only real opponent was really Plant. Apart from that, like
I hear what you're saying, mate.
In the division, though.
I hear what you're saying. The problem you've got is he's been avoided. No one wants him. Canelo don't even want to fight him.
No, Canelo will fight him in May.
It's a poor division, Andy, isn't it? It's a poor division.
There is a rumor out there that Canelo will fight Munguia first in May, and then in September he'll fight Benavidez. But I hope not. I hope he fights Benavidez first.
Munguia don't belong at that weight, does he?
No, he's not big enough.
Because Munguia, he hasn't earned the right to. Not even that, but. There's a lot of fighters that Canelo has fought that haven't earned it, right?
You don't blow at the weight, though, Lil Penny.
Munguia should fight Berlanga. Munguia can win that.
The problem you've got, though, Lil Penny, is how much money is he going to get for fighting Berlanga?
Yeah.
That fight could do well on pay-per-view because
it's not doing Canelo's money, though, is it?
No, it's not the same. But what I'm saying is he can beat Munguia. Munguia is nothing special.
Come on, he's a great fighter, Munguia.
Munguia? No.
He's a great fighter.
If you got the numbers put in front of you, little Penny, you're earning £10 fighting, I don't know, Munguia, or you're getting 10 million fighting Canelo. Which one are you going to go for?
Yeah, but Carl, it's not his call. It's Canelo's call. I reckon the Benavidez Canelo will do better.
He's won the lottery, right? He's won the lottery because Canelo's picked me out.
What I'm saying is Canelo can make more money fighting Benavidez than he can against Munguia.
No, because Canelo's talking about Munguia, and I'm Mr. Munguia. I'm going and fight. I don't care.
Canelo makes the same amount of money no matter who he fights.
Life-changing opportunity.
Oh, no, it depends on the pay-per-view, Andy. Because, for example, that Charlo fight, it only did like.
Hold on a minute. Canelo is a god in Mexico. He could fight a don. Hold on a minute. He could fight a donkey and sell 1 million pay-per-views. It doesn't matter. That's how. No, he could. He's a god. He walks on water over there.
Yeah, I agree with you. But Carl, the Jamel Charlo fight. Jamel is a name in America, right? It only did 700,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's on the high side. It's actually probably
but the
less
American
than that.
market is very different to the Mexican market, isn't it?
No, Mexico doesn't have pay-per-view. It's on live TV.
I don't care where they're coming from. If Canelo's at a pay-per-view, little Penny, he's earning his money out of it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there's a guarantee. But the thing is, when the pay-per-view goes up, right, so does your pay. So, for example, in that in that Charlo fight, Canelo probably only made up to his guarantee, which is 20 million, right? But had that pay-per-view done over 1 million,
only 20 million.
What I'm saying is, had that pay-per-view done 1 million, right? His purse would have been 35 million.
Come on. Does it really matter? To Canelo, does it really matter? Do you think he's crying over 5 or 10 million? He's made enough money. The problem is there's no one left in his division to fight.
No,
He's having to fight people in divisions below to make fights. Otherwise, he retires. What else does he do?
Yeah, he's cleaned out 168, but he can. Benavidez is probably the last man standing.
When he fought Liam Smith in Texas, Little Penny, he could have fought anyone in the world. There's much bigger names around than Liam Smith on that occasion, but he still took the fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
By the way, is it true that Liam Smith is going to cruiserweight, or is it? Am I?
No, Billy Joe Saunders.
Okay,
Billy Joe
all right.
Saunders. Yeah.
Only for one fight, mate. He's fighting at that weight because he's still overweight. I mean, let's have it right. He won't be fighting at cruiserweight, will he? It'll be probably a light heavyweight, maybe.
Yeah.
For his next few fights.
He'll fight that junior, I'll tell you. Before he's done.
Nah, that won't happen now, Carl. I think that boat's sailed. Let's move on. Let's move on then, Carl. Chantal Cameron, Katie Taylor.
Yep.
Ooh, I like this fight. I really like this fight. And by the way, this fight's a sellout. You know, the first fight, a lot of people thought that Cameron won, including me. But it wasn't that. It wasn't a wide decision or anything.
Mate, he was convincing. It was convincing.
Not to me. Not to me. I did think that Chantal Cameron won more rounds, and the rounds that she won, it was convincing. Like when she would connect on Taylor, it would really do damage. Whereas when Taylor connected on Cameron, it didn't do a lot of damage, but it's still connected, right? It's still
It was a great
fight. Yeah.
It's a great fight.
Yeah, I do think Katie Taylor is good enough to make an adjustment, but because she's too old and had so much wear and tear on her tires, I think Cameron will win it in a more convincing fashion this time. Where,
I don't know if it's mind games, but they've come out today. The Cameron camp and said that she had a tall bicep. Was it in the first fight? So if she managed to do that with a torn bicep, God help Katie Taylor when she goes in there fully fit. Because I think
if you look at Katie Taylor's resume, right, and you look at the current top 10 pound for pound fighters of women's boxing, Katie Taylor has fought like 5 of them. Like, you know, it's amazing. Like,
your resume don't help you when you get through them ropes, does it? Because I believe she's on the slide. I've said that for a while now. I think she's
Carl, in that first fight with Cameron started, and then in Katie Taylor fashion, she gets better as the fight goes on. Like she did this against Jonas. She did this against the Belgian girl.
I'll just give my view, Little Penny. I think Katie Taylor's on the slide. She's getting it more now than she ever has done in her career. So that tells me the reflex are possibly going. I think Chantal Cameron's getting better. And I think Katie Taylor's just unfortunate at this crossroads fight that she's in there with someone who is very, very special in Chantal.
And also her punching power doesn't resonate at 140 because she's really a lightweight, right? So that's another thing that's going against her. Because if you look at that first fight, whenever Cameron would hit her, it would affect her. Like, you know, it would. Whereas when Taylor would hit Cameron, and it counts as a point, right? It wouldn't. It didn't really affect her that much until like maybe in the later rounds where it did.
Trailblazer, absolute trailblazer and legend in female boxing. However, I worry for her in this fight. I think this could be a bit of a. I don't know. I don't know. I just think she should have really hung her gloves up. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I think this could be a bit of a brutal fight, this one. I think she could get stopped. Yeah,
she could get beaten up here, like with Cameron. Kind of like
one fight, 2 minutes.
This fight could be like a De La Hoya Pacquiao fight, but I don't think it will. I think Katie Taylor has still a little bit left in the tank, but I don't think it will be enough, especially at 140.
So here's my view. I agree with pretty much everything Cole said, and that's very rare. I've said it for a long time now, every single time we talk about Chantel Cameron, she's the best fighter on the planet. End of. Exclamation mark, full stop, underlined, highlighted. Katie Taylor doesn't belong at super lightweight. I understand why she went there. She went there for legacy, and you got to. There's nothing bad you can say about Katie Taylor. She's a trailblazer. Female boxing would not be where it is. Would not have been highlighted had it not been for Katie Taylor and Eddie Hearn taking the bull by the horns and pushing female fighting to where it is now. But everybody has to come to an end at some point. And I completely understand why Katie Taylor went to super lightweight. She wanted to become undisputed at 2 weights. I get that. But and I think she underestimated what Chantel Cameron brings to the table. I think everybody underestimates what Chantel Cameron brings to the table.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that.
And this is why Chantel Cameron wanted to fight Katie Taylor at lightweight for her belts. And it was straight away Katie Taylor said, no, it's not happening. I want to fight her at super lightweight again because I got beat at that weight. That, in my opinion, masks the fact that she didn't want to lose the titles at lightweight.
Yeah.
Like I say, other than that, yeah, there's absolutely nothing bad you can say about Katie Taylor for what she's done. But I agree with Cole. She has slowed down. She's past the prime. Chantel Cameron is in a prime. She'll have years in a prime as well. And this could be devastating for Katie Taylor. I mean, she's as tough as they come.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if Chantel Cameron stops her, but she's going to do a lot of damage in this fight. I wish Katie Taylor would have hung her gloves up last time. I understand, though, because of who she is, the warrior that she is, she doesn't want to go out on a loss. I get that. But then fight Serrano again. Don't fight Chantel Cameron. Yeah. Fight Serrano again. You'd have got just as good a publicity, just as massive a fight.
Oh,
it could have still been in Ireland.
She's got a lot of fights at 135. She could fight Alicia Baumgartner too. Or
yeah, well, no, she can't fight Alicia Baumgartner because she's banned.
Or what's his name? The other one, the Michaela Mayer.
Yeah, that's no. Yeah, well, no, but not on the same level as Chantel Cameron or Serrano. But what I mean, the Serrano fight was the fight of the year, right, in New York. Why not rerun that in America, in Ireland? Do it in Ireland. She shouldn't have gone, in my opinion. It's only my opinion, you know. But she shouldn't have gone anywhere near Chantel Cameron a second time. But
she has
you've got to give her
140 before. In fact, she won a belt there a few years ago.
Yeah, but not against anyone of that level, mate. Well, that's the point I'm making. It's okay going up there. It's okay going up there and fighting someone that's not elite. But as soon as you step in with someone that's elite at that level, you tell the difference straight away.
Well, that fight was pretty close at 140.
That's my point. Exactly.
Argentinian, and in fact, she got a black eye.
So
that's my point, little Penny.
Let's get to predictions then. So I'll just pick Matt's up in the sidebar. Matt thinks Chantel Cameron by round 9. What's your prediction, little Penny?
Cameron by unanimous decision.
And
I'm torn a little bit here because of how tough Katie Taylor is. I think you'll have to nail Katie Taylor to the floor in Ireland to get her stopped. So because of that, I'm going.
The first fight, she didn't have to knock her down. No, I think
No.
scorecard was quite fair.
No, the point I'm trying to make, little Penna, is I think Chantel Cameron's more than capable of stopping Katie Taylor, but Katie Taylor being so tough and it being in Ireland, you literally have to pin her down to stop her. You'd have to knock her out cold. I think because of that it goes to points, but I think it's going to be quite a convincing wide points decision this time.
I'm going round 7. I think the wheels are coming off for Katie Taylor in this fight, so I'm going round 7, Cameron stoppage.
So you reckon it'll be like remember when Hatton fought that guy in
in Manchester City, it will be like that, where he starts crying, like blah blah. You think Katie Taylor will go down, start crying, and
Yeah, so, no, she won't do that.
I just think it's one fight too many.
You might be right, Cole, and I'm praying that that's not the case, because that's not the way she should be going out. That's not the way the champion, and for what she's done and the legacy that she's provided to female boxing, that's not the way she should be going out. So I hope that it's a competitive fight, and I hope that she is the last bell. I can't. There's nothing in me that thinks she can win the fight, though.
But Andy, it's not even one fight too many. It's the quality of the fighters that she's fought. Like they're all
I
really
know,
good.
I know that.
And there's
I get
many
that,
of them.
But Lil Penny, it must be hard from Katie's perspective to jump in with world-class opponents, fight in, fight out. She maybe don't want to jump in with a a knockover fight. Why would she? She probably wants to go out on the sword. To be honest,
she does. And that's everything that male boxing currently isn't.
Yeah. See, the thing is this: because Taylor keeps fighting the best of the best every single time. When she retires, well, how come I'm what's it called? I'm echoing.
No, not to it. You're not.
On my end, I am. Andy, am I echoing on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not to me, fella.
Maybe. Andy, I'll log back in. Yeah.
Okay. So just while Little Penny sorts that out, we better come on to the final topic, Andy. Now, I haven't looked at this statement. I'll be honest with you. I only gave it a quick look. But by all accounts, she's had an independent drug test done. Is that about the gist of it, which proves she's innocent? It's all seems smokes and mirrors to me, where I'm getting a bit bored of these drug tests, to be honest. But
right, so I've got an echo now as well. Have you touched anything, Cole? Your end?
No. And you clear as a bell to me, both of y'all.
Yeah, clear here too. But I'm echoing.
Last topic of the night, Little Penny. Let's just crack on. Right, so I've read this statement in full. I've kind of picked the bones of it. Firstly, I give Boom Gardner a little bit of respect for the fact that she's gone and took the bull by the horns and done something about it. She obviously feels like she's not guilty. Oh, it's gone now. The echo's gone. That's strange. Anyway, so she's took the bull by the horns. She's gone and paid for an independent specialist to do a different type of test, which is a hair strand test.
Oh.
Now, the people that she's spoken to, Cole, whether this is right or wrong, this is going to come out. So the people she's spoken to have basically said that a urine test is easier to contaminate than a hair strand test. This hair strand test can go back so many months to say what was in the system at that particular time. And this test apparently shows no adverse findings for the time period that the urine test was done. So, mate, take of that what you want. Now, she's now obviously, there you go, here's the evidence, I've proclaimed my innocence. The problem is, that doesn't clear her. Until the sanctioning body or the doping agency that found her guilty or found the adverse finding, until they agree with that test that she's had done, she's still banned. So
it's a mess. It's a mess because I'm sure. I'm not saying she's done this, but if I pay someone enough money, or I've got enough money to go to various laboratories, I'm sure I can find someone who gives me I'm not saying it's okay, but an alibi to say that I'm innocent. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Conor Ben.
Okay, hold on. I was just about to say, I'm going to draw a parallel with the Conor Ben thing now, right?
Yeah.
Boom Gardner's failed test was what, 4 months ago?
Feels about right.
How long has Conor Ben been banned?
Oh,
a year.
Right. So explain this to me. Right. Why is it taking?
It was September, wasn't it?
Right. So why is it taking over a year for Conor Benn to show his findings to the British Boxing Board and UKAD when it's taken Baumgardner just 4 months, and she's come out with, this is exactly what I've had done. This is exactly what it's shown. I've handed it to the authorities. It's in their hands now. Why is it it's only taken Baumgardner 4 months, but we've had this circus show from Conor Benn's camp for a year? That's all I'm going to say is Baumgardner is leading the way. If she obviously feels like she's not guilty, she feels like whatever those urine tests show were contaminated. That's what she's saying. She's saying that she's always been a clean athlete, and here's her findings.
I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan, Andy, of people running up to different organisations to get different tests done.
Yeah.
Take the commission to court.
But okay, all right. Let me play devil's advocate then, Carl. How else does she prove her innocence?
By taking the commissions to court. If she thinks they've been contaminated, that needs investigating.
Right. So, but okay. So, I'm sure that'll be her next step. If they don't agree with this here sample test, I'm sure that's what she'll do. But she's got to prove that she's innocent, right? She's gone and done that in her way. She's gone and done. She's gone and proved she's innocent by getting another type of test done, other than the urine test.
Which
Carl, Andy,
turn around and not recognise under.
Well, if you do that, then she's in trouble, isn't she?
There is evidence that she was on drugs and she did cheat because her opponent tested negative.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. Oh, yeah, that's not. Yeah, but hold on. Again, playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying she's innocent because the authorities will decide that. What I'm saying is, like I say, playing devil's advocate. Samples can get contaminated. It can happen.
Yeah, that's true.
And an A and B sample come from the same urine. So if you've got a contaminated test in A, you're going to have a contaminated test in B. I'm not saying.
What about a hair follicle test? Like what?
That's what she's had done. That's what she's had done.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Negative.
That's what I'm saying. She's paid for that independently. She's paid for that, and the findings are that there's no evidence.
Off the cycle, Andy. Like
No. The hair follicle test, because of if you've got to have hair, obviously, but if the hair is long enough, it can tell you. It can tell you. I don't suppose it matters, but obviously she'll have taken it off her head. But it's good. It depends on how long your hair is. It can tell you so far back, and you can pinpoint. This is how good doctors are now. You can pinpoint when that urine test was taken. She can pinpoint from a hair sample test somewhere along that lines, and they've proved.
Do you know what an obvious question is, Under? If that's the case, why commissioner's not using that type of test?
Because it's too expensive, Carl.
Well, then it's a nonsense, isn't it, with the money that's floating through?
Okay, so that's Baumgardner's argument. It's too expensive, so that's why they don't do it. Now, if that is the case, then boxing's got a problem, hasn't it? If she's finding that is a more reliable test, and there's less chance that you can contaminate the sample, boxing needs to go down that route. And if you're saying they're not going down that route because it's too expensive, then we've got a problem, haven't we?
Boxing's got a problem anyway, because every time now a fighter gets deemed as a drug cheat, they just go running off to laboratories and getting different tests done, and just trying to undermine undermine the integrity of the sport.
Hold on, Carl. Hold on. So what's Conor Benn done? Where's his Yeah, but where's his test? He's not shown anything.
Well, what's Baumgardner done? She only spoke about it.
No, she hasn't.
Well,
no, she has. She's had a test done, and she's given the test to the authorities. That's my point.
But my understanding is that Ben's provided some evidence to the British Boxing Board of Control.
Yeah, but not all of it. Only the ones he wants to show.
All I'm saying is, if I'm a top-end boxer and I get done for taking drugs now, there's a precedent been set where as long as I've got a few quid, I can run off to some scientific laboratory somewhere and say, can you make this go away for me by doing some random test, coming away from the practice of other commissioner, and then hope that it all goes away.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. Hold on a minute. Hold on. So you've hit the nail on the head there. Hope that it goes away.
It's a disgrace.
Maybe it is, Cole, but then boxing's the one that's to blame here. I'm not saying that Boom Gardner's innocent. I don't know that she's innocent or not innocent. All I'm telling you is the evidence she's given. But her point is that the urine test system is not reliable enough. If that's the case, then it needs looking into.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Speaking of drug tests, what about Baby Miller? He's fighting on his Saudi Arabia card next month. Is there drug testing in this card?
Just 1 minute, Lil Penny. Let Matt give his opinion on this, and then we'll talk about that.
Yeah, Jarrell Miller's a dirty word wherever you look. Carl, I agree with absolutely everything you say, mate. Because I did tweet during the weekend, didn't I, mate? About just saying it does feel it's wrong. What I was trying to say in there is, what other sport does this happen in?
Yeah.
Because if you get tested in, I've mentioned athletics before previously on here, but in any other sport, somebody gets a negative test, they'll get a ban, regardless of if it was intentional or not. But there's absolutely no way in hell in any other sport is an athlete or a footballer or whoever it may be going, let me go and get my own test done. Yeah. Because there's so many jurisdictions and so many governing bodies. The sport, if you're saying, Andy, you're saying, oh, then boxing's got a problem. No, boxing's clearly had a problem for a very long time.
Of course it has. Of course it has.
It's sadly now, it's just, I don't like. I've heard Eddie Hearn's statements previously saying, well, we're testing more, so we're going to catch more. Yeah, that's great. But what I didn't like previously was his tone of, well, we're going to get more of these adverse findings. But he was saying it like, well, we're going to get these situations, but it's okay. They can be explained and things like that. Not, we're going to get more of these findings and we're going to root the swines out or anything like that. Like I said, if you are 100% responsible for what goes into your system. Now, if something has got there by accident, yeah, sorry to hear that, but it's in your system and it's a benefit to you. There's your 2-year ban. And potentially is a 4-year ban.
No, Matt,
because the British Boxing Board of Control, they better get to handle this Conor Benn situation because they're losing all credibility.
But Matt, just going back to your point, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, I reckon it's still your fault.
That's what I'm saying.
Or even if you got if you got poison, for example, like what Wilder's excuse was, doesn't matter. It's still your fault because it's your body. Like, you're responsible for it.
Whether with the fighter.
Yeah, correct. Whether it was unintentionally or not, doesn't matter. It's your fault.
Yeah,
or if you took a pill that accidentally had a substance where it was illegal, and that's still your fault. Doesn't matter. Like, you can't use these excuses. Like, remember when Shane Warne got caught for like drug testing and he blamed his mom? Come on, man. No one bought that. No one bought that. Like, of course he was on the pill, right? No one bought that.
I don't like the move by Boom Gardner. I don't like it. I think there's other avenues she could have pursued to clear a name, but she chose to go. I mean, I don't even know what she thinks this proves. It proves very little to me.
But she did better than what Carl was saying. So what Andy was saying, Carl, she did better than what. Because she did give a hair follicle test. She did give out other. Whereas Conor Benn, he did it in a he only gave out a little, and then he refused to disclose all the other tests.
We only know what she'd put out. We only know what she'd put out into the media, don't we? Let's
true. Right. Yeah.
So let's just go down. You know, we only know what we know, what they want us to know. Same with Conor Benn. We only know what they want us to know. So it brings a sport that I love. It worries me because, you know, I remember when people used to take the ban, didn't they? Canelo, people like that. I know, but Canelo's 6 months not a great example, but It's almost like the fighters got more money now than the commissioners and the British Boxing Board of Control.
Well, they have.
Yeah,
And they have.
Where's that leave boxing?
There's
Also,
because of the unified approach in how the commissions are governing it. There's absolutely no way boxing will get a handle on it.
Yeah,
Matt,
you're right.
Matt, how about this in terms of governing
Not even
organizations?
unified in the United States, though, Matt, is it? You got
No, exactly.
different people running the commissions, whether it's local authority or or a plethora of people.
What about this? Jamal Charlo, who's fighting Jose Benavidez, is not even a middleweight, right? He's a welterweight. He doesn't. I don't know why he's fighting in middleweight, but he hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He's still the WBC champion. He hasn't been dethroned per se, but Bud Crawford, his IBF title got taken out after like 3 months. And he's got a rematch with the former IBF champion. What is up with that? That 2 years versus 3 months. That doesn't make sense.
So it gets worse than that, Lil Penny. Tyson Fury goes over to Germany, dethrones Vladimir Klitschko. It wasn't even a day before the IBF stripped him of his title.
There's many examples. What about Leo Santa Cruz, our friend?
4 years. 4 years. 4 years.
I was just
Anyway, I think that's the perfect place to bring the show to an end. We've been going for an hour and 15. So, Andy, I'll let you see us out. But thank you everybody for your contributions.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the sidebar. Lil Penny, great having you on the show all the way over from down under.
Andy, since I'm talking to 3 British people here, I was watching this documentary about David Beckham. I think the documentary is called Beckham. Anyway,
that'd be about right.
Anyway, there was a point where when Victoria Beckham and David Beckham, they were going out, right? And Man U went, I don't know, it might have been at Nottingham Forest or something. And the fans at Nottingham Forest were chanting out, Victoria likes it up the arse or something like that. What the hell is going on with the fans over there?
It won't be foreign because we weren't in the top flight then, so I don't think it'll be foreign.
I don't know, whoever it was, right? Why would you even chant that? Like that's like over the top type stuff. Like
that's,
and you can clearly hear, and Victoria's eyes were like.
Okay, so we're talking about 90s football, or early 2000s, whenever it was. So that's terrace chanting, mate. That's terrace chanting from the UK. It's cleaned itself up a little bit now, but that's mild. That's mild.
Do they still do that today? Like in today's English football, do they still do that, like kind of stuff, or is that banned now?
Oh,
okay, Lil Penny. Okay.
They did not.
This is a boxing show, so we'll make this short and sweet.
Okay.
Are you going to ban 25,000 people from singing what they want to sing?
It was hilarious, though. I just thought that was a little like at the time I started laughing, right, cracking up laughing because it's hilarious. But then a day later, I was thinking, no, man, that was a little too far. Like, I wonder, like.
I mean. It's kind of British humour as well. I know that wasn't very nice for Victoria Beckham to hear, and obviously the fans were getting at David Beckham to doing it. But a lot of things are said between rival fans, and most of it's tongue in cheek, and the fans will take it as that. Sometimes the authorities don't like it and don't take it as that. That's just British terrace talk, mate, unfortunately.
Anyway, that's enough about British culture. Thank you everyone for joining the show. Like, comment, subscribe. This has been Last Ball Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Liftings and LC Travel. We'll see you next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Matt, cheers. Good night, everybody.